part in today's contest. Leon Bright, smaller guy for Henry Ford. Also, Cal Tech has 19 guys under 5'10" on their team. So what is it turning into, a little man's game?
I doubt that very seriously. There's a look at Clarence Williams on the season. He's the leading all-purpose guy for the Detroit Tech team. Clarence is averaging close to 783 yards on the season, and he's the man to look to for this contest. And on the other side, Detroit Henry Ford is led by that man right there, Leon Merritt. 129 carries, 810 yards coming into this game with 11 touchdowns.
And this is the guy that you see. He's a nightmare. You don't want to see a guy like this coming at you. He's an all-purpose player. He's fast, he runs hard, and he can cause teams a lot of problems.
They're getting ready to introduce the starting lineup for this game. And as they introduce them, we're going to take a break and come back. This is the Detroit Public School League playoff game. Detroit Henry Ford and Detroit Cavs. The winner will go on next week and face Detroit Denby. Hold on for some exciting PSL action coming your way. And Sherelle Rowland. They faced each other time and time again. This is the second year in a row where Henry Ford has faced coach on the left is Sherelle Rowland of Cass Tech, and on the right is Mike Marshall. This is Coach Rowland's fourth year in the championship in the playoff hunt for the city, and it's been avoiding him all 4 years. 2 years in a row being knocked out by the man on the right, Mike Marshall. And we're set for kickoff. Back deep, Lindale Bright receives it in his end zone, but public school league and high school football, you can't run it out of the end zone. So the Trojans will start their offensive attack at the 20-yard line, which is loaded with great speed in the backfield.
Well, that's one
in
thing.
The backfield for the Henry Ford Trojans, number 9, Leon Merritt. Number 1, Lindale Bright. Number 4, Marquise Jameson. Number 5, Dennis Hubbard. And number 20, DeMar Donovan. Here's the give to Merritt. First down for Leon Merritt.
And the pass is complete to number 9, Leon Merritt.
One of the top backs in the Midwest. Picks up a first down for the Trojans on the very first carry.
And this is exactly what Cass Tech really didn't want to get into. They don't want Leon Merritt fighting off huge chunks of yardage at this particular time, especially on the first possession. Normally it's a filling out, but Henry Ford looks as though they're out here trying to do whatever they can in the first quarter. Get the filling out process.
Merritt, once again, testing the right side of that Cass Tech line. And Keith Travis, the leading tackler on the Detroit Cass Tech team, on the stop. Travis has 36 solo tackles on the season. A lot of movement going on. That was Marsh in motion. They run it to the left this time. And nothing, as Merritt might have lost a yard on the play. Met first by number 71, Renell Pinnock, in the backfield. So the Cass Tech line penetrating that time to stop the big fullback from Detroit Henry Ford.
Well, what they did was they stacked him up. They went from east to west really good, pursuing this particular play. Stood Leon Merritt up, he lost the yard. But still, there's one thing you got to understand. They got another young man by the name of Lindale Bright in that backfield also.
Third down and 7. Marquise Jameson decides to keep it himself. And may have picked up about 3 yards on the play. Fourth down for the Trojans, Henry Ford.
Well, again, Henry Ford enjoys playing that smash mouth football because they've got the guys to do it with. This time, Jefferson keeps the ball, and he calls his own number trying to sneak through that hole, that crease, and pick up that first down. He was unsuccessful. Right now, the Trojans have to punt to the technician, 4th down, and Cass Tech will have an offensive possession and see what they can do against the defensive unit for the Henry Ford Trojans.
Frederick Wilkerson, the 100-yard sprint champion for Detroit Public School League, and good coverage that time on the punt team of Detroit Henry Ford. A lot of these guys on Henry Ford, like we said at the top, the size of their line will make the difference. The quickness of the Henry Ford line, because they're not very big. Let's see if they can get down and cover defensively. Here it is. This is the punt return. And Wilkerson.
Okay, what seems to happen is Henry Ford sends a rifleman down there. His job is to slow up the play, which is primarily what he does. He slows the play, makes the runner reverse field, go back the other way. There's a host of Henry Ford players are waiting to make the tackle. Several players were right there to bring that technician down. So one thing that you want to say about the Henry Ford defense, they're not the biggest team in the world, but they play smart defensively.
Wishbone look for the Cass technician to give to Clarence Williams. And he almost broke it. One man stopped him, and that man was 9, Leon Merritt. So, on Clarence Williams' first carry, Cass Tech picks up the first down.
And at that time, Cass Tech's offensive unit won that battle. What they did was that they pulled a nice shift and punched that defensive unit of this Henry Ford team right in the middle, which gave Clarence Williams a little access to the outside. Picks up about 7-8 yards on that play.
Clarence Williams gets the call again. Running the right.
Clarence Williams, the ball.
And he picks up about 3 yards on the play.
Leon Merritt.
Leon Merritt there on the stop.
I'm sorry, Jeff. Another thing that you have to must look at this Henry Ford team is that they played defense. They played both defensively and offensively. And one thing about them, they're in great shape and they play smart. And that's the one thing Cass Tech is going to have to look at today.
Second down, here comes the option. Oh, Leon Merritt.
And a fumble.
Making a big hit that time on Durante Scott. And
Henry Ford
recovers the fumble.
Number 9.
This is what I'm talking about, Jeff. When we talk about the heart of a team like Lions, look at what happens. It looks as though Cass is trying to set up some kind of option play. Leon Merritt is right here to smash the quarterback for Cass Tech. Down he goes. The ball pops loose. Henry Ford now has possession. Great field position.
Leon Merritt shooting through there like a dart. Gets it offensively now. The big fullback doing it on both sides of the ball. Picks up about 6 yards on the play.
This is one of those kind of games where you've got teams that's got 2 fantastic backs. Merritt and for Henry Ford, Williams for Cass Tech. Be looking for these 2 guys to do the decoy play sometimes.
T formation, first man to the play was number 40. That was Keith Travis on the stop. Leon Merritt on the carry. And he's about a yard shy, maybe 2 yards shy of another first down. Making 3rd down and a short 1-yard gain for a first.
And number 42, Clyde Jackson.
Here's the give to Merritt, first down and more.
Merritt is absolutely, he is unreal once he gets going with that ball. This guy, he's got the body, he's a solid young man. When he hits those holes, he just lowers himself. Take a look at the replay, see what we're talking about here. Pow, right there, Jefferson hands off the ball. He's running low to the ground. That center of gravity is very important, especially when you're a big man on 6'2". He makes up for it by running low.
Merritt, the workhorse this first quarter, gets it again.
Number 9, Leon Merritt, the ball carrier.
Leon Merritt on the season, 126 carries for 810 yards, and probably a league touchdown, 11 touchdowns. League lead.
2nd and 8 for the Trojans.
2nd down and 8. The Trojans are on the march. Jameson sprinting out. Trying to turn the corner, it doesn't. There is number 34 for Detroit Cass Tech. Bobby Carter on the stop.
Cass Tech played some excellent defense that time, running east to west, running, keeping that, containing that quarterback. Check out this Cass Tech team. As you can see, the linebackers did a spectacular job. I mean, absolutely no turn the corner. Maybe picked up about 3 yards on that particular play, but that could have been a big play if not had been for the great defensive play by this unit, this Cass Tech unit, who did some smart team tackling. Marquis James, quarterback for this Henry Ford team. 5'11", 170 pounds. Senior.
Third down. Here's the give. Straight up the middle. That's Hubbard for the easy touchdown.
Well, this is what we're talking about. The offensive unit for this Henry Ford team played very smart. What they did is they just opened up that whole quick move, quick pocket, running through the gap with his back for this Henry Ford team. They scored easily up the middle before Cass Tech knew what happened. Henry Ford was in the end zone.
That was 25 yards on the run by Hubbard.
A 25-yard run by Hubbard, and we've seen this against Cooley, and they're doing exactly the same thing to Detroit Cass Tech. Running wide, wearing down the big guys as they try to run down the play. Henry Ford gets on the board first. Henry Ford 6, Cass nothing.
Okay, here we go. We're going to take a look at what happened. Look at this offensive line at the point of attack. They completely opened up a nice hole, blocker up front. Hubbard has the ball. He almost walked into the end zone. That was some great blocking point of attack by this Henry Ford team. You can't say enough about these guys. They're a smaller team, but they somehow managed to get the job done. They've got a lot of heart. Not counting out this Cass Tech team, they've got a fantastic team also. But you also have to wonder who's going to open up in this game first. Who's going to air it out? Both teams are pretty good at that. But one thing about this Henry Ford team, they play well as a unit, offensively, defensively, as well as special team play.
Clarence Williams back for
number 32, Jason Smith.
Clarence Williams gets it, finds a little daylight, breaks a couple tackles, one man to beat, and just tripped up by Londell Bright. Right at the 40-yard line.
We're going to be calling this little guy's name Londell Bright all day today. He makes the best tackles at the best time. That was an ankle tackle with one hand by Londell Bright. If it wasn't for that one-hand tackle on Carter, on Williams, I should say, it would have been 6 points for Cass Tech. No one would have caught this guy. Let's take a look at the replay, see what we're talking about. Nice mellow kickoff by Leon Bright. As you can see, Clarence Williams, he waits and ball in one hand like a loaf of bread. He starts firing up the middle. One tackler to beat. He doesn't. They have possession of the ball at about the 25-yard line.
Isaac on the carry, and he picks up about 4 yards on that play.
56 can hear the players on the stop.
Confusion about who's on the field for Detroit Henry Ford. They're going to count it. There's the flag.
There's a flag on the play.
Too many men on the field. The Henry Ford player couldn't get off quick enough. So they had 12 men defending. Definitely an advantage.
Yeah, definitely. I think you would have a better chance with 12 more than 12 people on the field.
And now Henry Ford takes the time out defensively. A lot of people were moving around, and number 5, I believe that was Dennis Hubbard, who was supposed to come out, didn't get off the field in time, but decided to stay on the field and added a little support. Your score, Cass strikes first, 6-0 in favor. I'm sorry, Henry Ford strikes first. Sorry, Cass fans. And we'll be right back after this. Tech stand.
And I've got to commend Cass.
Check out this replay and too many guys on the field. Well, this is the kick return by Clarence Williams.
Again, you don't want this guy, Clarence Williams, to get the movement going. A little hole is all you need. A little bit of sunlight. This guy has speed that would just blow anybody away. Because if he gets past you, no one's going to catch him. Luckily, Leon Bryant was there. Londell Bryant was there to make that one-handed ankle tackle to bring him down. And that saved a potential touchdown for from this Cass Tech team to tie the score, possibly go ahead by 1 or 2 points.
First and 10 for the technician.
After the 15-yard penalty for having too many men on the field, Scott goes to the air for Wilkerson, overthrows.
And the pass is intended for Frederick Wilkerson from Devontae Scott. Incomplete.
Well, another thing that you must look at, too, is that this Cass Tech team is showing this Henry Ford team, if you cheat on us defensively, we're going to throw the ball. Henry Ford is going to have to remain conscious of that fact. They can't afford to cheat a bit too much, because if they do, that means they've got to go to that one-to-one coverage. And Cass Tech has the speed to make something happen on that one-on-one. So that's where this Henry Ford team has to be careful. Cass Tech is chock full of talent.
Wishbone attack for the technician. The give to Clarence Williams. And Leon Merritt there for the stop after about a 3 or 4 yard pickup.
One fantastic back stopping another. And that's exactly what Cass Tech likes to do. They like playing the smash mouth kind of football. Defensively, if Henry Ford can stop him and force him to go to the air, I think that would be the Henry Ford advantage. But what's going to be the key right here is this Cass Tech offensive line. If they can make things happen with the smaller Henry Ford line, Cass Tech can have a little bit of fun today. It's going to be a tough contest.
Give to Williams off the left side, trying to follow Bobby Carter, but that time a good job by the defensive unit of Detroit Henry Ford to string that one out.
Absolutely, Jeff. That play didn't fool anybody. Henry Ford played that very well. They strung it out. Linebackers contained, ran Clarence out of bounds, and there was really no yardage picked up on that. We're looking at 4th down. Henry Ford will get possession of the ball again.
4th and 7, punt formation for the Cass technician. Williams with the kick. Lindell Bright back, and he'll receive it. No, he'll let it bounce, and it'll go out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
Wait a minute.
Going to the end zone.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay.
And the ball went out of bounds at the 3-yard.
Henry Ford has some pretty bad field position. They're down at their own 3-yard line. That was a fantastic punt by this Cass technician team. You've got to ask yourself, will this Cass Tech coaching staff put a little bit of pressure on this Henry Ford team, try to keep them in that particular position so they could possibly get a mistake or turnover or whatever right here.
Here's the give to Merritt, number 9, testing the left side of the defensive unit of Cass.
Looked like that they were in that formation to fake off to the first man, give it to the second man, following him, going through that hole. It didn't work. Cass Tech was there to sniff it out and stop it. Looking at the 2nd and 7.
Credit Orlando Turner with the tackle. Orlando Turner, 6'2", 247 pounds, offensive tackle and defensive tackle. He's a senior.
Cass Tech is
to Hubbard right now. Hubbard with the blocking of Merritt out in front, but Hubbard may have picked up about 2 yards on the play.
Henry Ford is playing a confusing type offense. They're going on the first hit. Instead of calling, they're going on the first hit. The Cass Tech defense is a little bit off balance because before the Cass Tech defense can set themselves, Henry Ford is already into their offensive play.
5-3 defensive set for Cass. Jameson trying to get outside and is nailed by number 5, Jason Smith, on the corner.
Jason Smith stood right there. He stayed at home. And made the tackle. Let's take a look at what happened. Jemison tries to run wide, thinking he had the blocking, and take a look at what happens. Number 5 for this Cass Tech team, that's Jason Smith. He stays home. He makes the tackle against this Trojan team.
4th down after a loss of 3 yards, or after a loss of 3 yards on the play. Ball is marked right at the 5, so Jameson will kick this one away, and Wilkerson back in punt formation to receive the punt, and
little mistake. Cass Tech looks like it's going to be on the technician. And if it is on
Now
the technician, that'll be a first down.
No, it won't.
Oh,
it won't be a first down.
I'm sorry. That's my mistake.
Dead ball foul, encroachment against the defense.
Fourth and a long 4. Maybe 3. Let's say 4. Looks like 4 to me. They'll probably try it again. Let's see if the Henry Ford specialty team tries to make the Cass Tech team jump again. Let's see. That might be a first down for Henry Ford. Let's see who jumps. They call it against Cass. It will be a first down. Dead ball foul against the Trojans.
Right now, Henry Ford is flirting with danger a little bit here because they're in bad field position. And a bad snap or anything like that in the end zone, that would be great for Cass Tech. So right now, Henry Ford should concentrate on getting rid of this ball after all they do have to lead.
4th and 8. Nobody moves that time. Wilkinson. Let's see if he'll receive it. He does. He's trying to take a chance. Big break for the Henry Ford Trojans as Dennis Hubbard, number 5, recovers the punt.
Oh, no. Let's look at this again. Let's take a look at what happened. Simply misplanned. Instead of just falling on the ball, he tries to pick it up. Number 88 for Cass Tech. And that is Frederick Wilkinson. He tries to pick it up, slips off from under him. Cass Tech loses the ball. Again, a mental mistake. This is what teams can ill afford to make right here.
First and 10 for the Trojans.
Wilkinson, the leading punt returner on the team, tried to make something happen there, but couldn't, and turned the ball over. Merritt for the Trojans. The Trojans have some room to operate now. Pick up a 5. We'll call it 2nd and 5 for the Trojans.
Right now, this offensive line of Henry Ford is playing smart. All they're doing is trying to move this Cass Tech team a little bit to give Merritt a little bit of room to shoot through those holes.
That's going to do it for the first quarter of play. The Trojans, Henry Ford, 6.
Leon Merritt, the ball carrier, number 52, Brandon.
And the Cass technicians, nothing. The clock had zeros on it. The referees haven't indicated that was the end of the quarter. Let's see if they realize it. Maybe it's a penalty. It was an offensive penalty on the play. So that's going to mark another first down.
Oh,
let's see.
And at the end of the first quarter.
They never indicated it, folks. So, well, that's the end of the first quarter.
The technicians of Cass Tech, 0.
Well, we thought there was no indication of if they recognized that the quarter was over with. They started moving the ball upfield. We thought it was one of those huge penalties, and it just so happened that they didn't acknowledge it.
The Trojans 6, Cass Tech 0. We'll be right back after this.
It's the dual interaction. Hot audience out there, guys. Good show tonight, huh? Oh, there's someone from HBO at Table 7.
HBO, man, that's where the big boys play.
HBO? HBO's for somebody. I know what. This is a big break.
You could have worn another shirt. Is there really somebody out there from HBO tonight?
Nah, you kidding? Fun from HBO come to a dump like this. But they're always funny when they think there is.
If you think you've seen funny before, just you wait.
You can see all the NFL action every Sunday. Sit back. Let us do the work. ESPN NFL Prime Time. We'll find every bone-crushing hit, search out every key play, and mix insight from our pros into television's fastest hour of football. NFL Prime Time.
Rail Roland of Detroit Cass Tech and his Cass technician as Henry Ford
Number 5, Dennis Hubbard, the ball
makes
carrier.
another first down.
Number 42, Clyde Jackson, on the tackle for the technicians.
Well, right now, it seems as know Henry Ford is interested in playing smash my football. Look at what happens here. Again, they don't have a big offensive line, but their line is doing what it takes to make things happen.
That time to give to the elusive Rondell Bright. But the Cass defense did a fine job in keeping him intact.
Because
the ends on that play has to go upfield and make sure that they contain.
The one thing that this Cass Tech team does not want to happen is let Rondell Bright get on the outside. Because once a little guy get on the outside, he's got speed, moves, he can make things happen.
Jamison back to pass for the first time. Knocked away by number 34, Bobby Carter, linebacker.
34, Bobby Carter.
Okay, this pass could have been picked off. There wasn't even a fake. There was just a roll left. Tries to put it up in the air. Almost picked off by number 34. That's really Bobby Carter of the Cass technician. Almost picked off by a one-handed spectacular play.
3rd and 11. Or 3rd and 12, pardon me. Long back in the backfield.
3rd and 11 for the Trojans.
Is Hubbard. Jamison back to pass, looking deep for Bright. Good coverage downfield, broken up by number 7, Antonio Rush.
For number 1, Rondell Bright.
Should have been an interception. Should have been an interception. Ball was underthrown. Was meant for Rondell Bright. 5'7", 153 pounds, senior on this Henry Ford team.
I'd like to say hello to the principals of both these establishments, Dr. Elijah Porter, the principal who calls the shots over at Detroit Henry Ford, and the interim principal at Detroit Cass Tech, Mr. George H. Cohen Jr. Two fine academic and athletic establishments going at it on the athletic fields right now. Henry Ford in the brown, Cass in the white, Jamison the punt. Here it is. Wilkerson steps up and catches this one up to the first bounce. Good coverage that time. First man downfield is number 5, Dennis Hubbard.
By number 5, Dennis Hubbard, and number 11, Charles Judges for the Trojans.
As we take a look at the cheerleaders here, enjoying this game here in Lorenzo Wright Field on a beautiful Saturday afternoon.
At 1 p.m. next Saturday, there will be the PSL championship game in the Denby crowd against the winner of this contest. Also, Tuesday, at 3:30 p.m.
As you take a look at that defensive unit for this Henry Ford team, see exactly what Cass Tech offense is going to try and do this time.
Clarence Williams on the counter. Williams,
number 30,
after a pickup of about 5 yards,
number 5
by Dennis Hubbard, along with number 56 on the Trojan team.
Clarence Williams, I'm telling you, this is a guy that looks like he's going to break it every time he gets his hands on the ball, but somebody always manages to be there to stop him with that last step. Because if he had bypassed that last defender, it would have been nothing but end zone. There's Leon Merritt.
Leon Merritt, standing linebacker, one of the best in the Midwest. Running back number 4 is William Isaac on the carry.
Tackled by number 1, Rondell Bright for the Trojans.
You're going to hear this young man name a lot, Rondell Bright. He's all over the field, offensively as well as defensively, and he seems to always be that last man there to stop the offensive player from seeing that sunlight. And this is exactly what has to happen today. But then again, Cass Tech is still content with playing this smash mouth kind of football.
William Isaac on that last carry. He's the second leading ground gainer. And the number gets called, number 32.
Number 32.
Gets his number called. Clarence Williams, the leading ground gainer for the Cass technician. 783 yards on the season. And that'll make it second down and about 6 for the technician. Isaac, 47 carries, 209 yards on the season, averaging 4.4 per carry, as well as Clarence Williams averaging 7.6. So the ground game of this Cass Tech team is pretty potent.
7 and 6 for the Texans.
Slot left, pro set formation. Here's the counter to Williams.
That looks like it's going to be a hold against this Cass Tech team. It looks as though it happened deep in the backfield.
Flag on the play.
Well, whenever the laundry is dropped back there,
Red ball foul against the technician, the legal procedure.
legal procedure is the call.
Okay, well, Cass Tech was sort of fortunate because they did have a quick hold back there in the backfield, but they still received 1 and 2, and of course that's going to make the sideline of the Henry Ford team a little bit happy. Cass Tech was being very successful on the ground against the Henry Ford team, running up chunks of yardage at a time, 3 to 4 yards to hit. This is exactly what the Henry Ford team doesn't want. They're going to have to cheat a little bit defensively to try and stop this Cass Tech running game.
Coach Rowland, a recipient of a new football field right at his back door. Cass Tech played their first home game ever this season. Second down and 11. Durante Scott trying to work the option.
Durante Scott on the carry for the technician. Number 1, Londell Wright on the tackle for the Trojans.
It was smart of this Cass Tech. Let's take a look at what happens again. And it was a nice thing that he didn't lateral that ball if he didn't option, because if he did, it would have been picked off. So it was a smart move for the quarterback of this Cass Tech team, which is Durante Scott. To hold on to the ball.
Scott only has 7 carries on the season for 31 yards and to the option again. And Henry Ford doing a fine job defensing it. Number 56.
Number 11, Durante Scott on the carry for Cass Tech. Tackled by number 56, Sayers for Henry Ford.
And it's also there with support, number 45. And that's Dwayne Robinson.
And if you notice one thing about this Henry Ford team, Jeff, they're not really all that interested in penetrating as they are in containing this Cass Tech team.
Williams back to punt. Here's the punt. It's up. Henry Ford players are getting away from it. And it'll be marked right about the 32-yard line.
And the punt is to the 32-yard line.
So decent field position once again for the Trojans.
As Mike Marshall scrambles along the sideline there, taking a look at his team.
Athletic directors for these two fine establishments are Maurice Menifee for Detroit Henry Ford and Mr. Robert Shannon from Detroit Cass Tech. Hello to you guys. High formation to give to the second back through, which is Bright.
Number 1.
That time, Londell Bright was hog-tied by the technician defense. The offensive line broke down, and a host of Cass Tech defenders were there. Let's take a look at what happened here, where the breakdown came about. As you can see, all it was a quick handoff to Londell, but Cass Tech defense had penetrated and grabbed him for a loss of about 3 yards on that play. Loss of about a yard, I should say, on that play.
Pennick, one of the main principals there in the line to stop it. Jameson, nice spin by Jameson. And he falls.
Jameson, the ball carrier for the Trojans, tackled by number 7, Antonio Rush.
Jameson handles that football like a loaf of bread, and it would make me nervous as a coach, knowing that the way he squirms and the way he spins. As you take a look at Mike Marshall, head coach of the Trojans. Long-time successful coach in the PSL. But as you can see the way that they spin and move, sometimes that ball is out there like a loaf of bread and a quick slap and knock it out.
High formation for the Trojans to give the big man, Merritt. And he's close to another first down for the Trojans.
Both of these teams seem content on just scratching it out on the ground for right now. And if you had to evaluate both teams, you would have to give a little of an edge to Henry Ford. Possession of the ball, they played great defense. They're holding Cass Tech. Sherelle Roll, head coach of the Cass Technicians.
Coach Rowland's 4th year in this playoff game, or in this playoff situation.
From the 41-yard line.
And here's another give to Merritt. Carries about 2 players, 3 or 4 yards on the play. So that'll be another first down. for the Trojans of Henry Ford.
We take a look here at what seems to happen. Leon Merritt takes the ball sort of deep in his own backfield. Again, the technician's defense sort of penetrated and stopped him at the point of attack. And this is what they want to see. Now, what's going to have to happen is Henry Ford's offensive unit is going to have to do what they've been successful at, and that's twisting and turning these teams to give their backs a chance to get through.
Fumble on the play, Leon Bright.
Fumble on the play.
Let's see, no, Cass Tech recovers. And number 46 on Cass Tech is Carlton Skiles.
Okay, Jim, we're going to go back on this fumble and see what caused it. What really caused it was the penetration of this technician team. Look at what they're right in the backfield before Londell can even take a step. The ball comes loose. Pounce on it. They've got great position at the 37-yard line. Henry Ford Trojans.
Coach Rowland pleased about that defensive play. Here's the give. Clarence Williams on the stop is Dennis Hubbard, number 5.
And you got to wonder who's going to take, who's going to go to the air, who's going to open up this game first. They got 3 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in this first half with the Trojans up by 6 points. Cass Tech is in great field position, but you've got to wonder if they're going to be content with trying to run this ball in the first half, or if they're going to put it up in the air.
Second down and 11. Scott looking to pass. And incomplete pass intended for Clarence Williams.
Scott, incomplete. 3rd and 11 for the technician.
Right now, 3 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in this first half. Cass Tech again with pretty good field position, although, you know, they'll be at it there. This is 3rd down coming up here. They got this great field position from a fumble.
Charles Nichols, please turn on your radio.
This is Henry Ford team radio.
3rd down and 11 for the technician. Bobby Connor, William Isaac in the backfield. Scott dropping back to pass, looking across the middle, overthrows his intended receiver. Number 1 for Tarif Tomase.
Credit to Henry Ford defense with that particular time. They penetrated, not giving the quarterback of this Cass Tech team the time he needed to get his footing and release that ball. What they did simply was apply the pressure and threw that ball before he wanted to.
So once again, Cass Tech has the punt after not getting their offense on cue.
Clarence Williams, the punt for the technician.
Here's the snap, a hard, low snap, another turnover. The ball is free around the 40. And Henry Ford doesn't get on it. Now they do. And they're pouncing on it. It's number 11. That's Charles Grudger, number 11, on the fumble recovery.
Okay, here we go again. The mistakes is what we're talking about. It was a nice snap. What simply happened was it was a misplay. Down it went. Pounds one Henry Ford player on top of the punter. Henry Ford runs down, tries to scoop it up. Number 44 for the Henry Ford team. He misses, but yet it's still recovered by the Henry Ford special team. They've got great field position at the 32-yard line of this technician team with 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in this first half.
Jamison back to pass. And this one's intercepted by number 5. That's Jason Smith on the interception.
Number 8, Brian Rogers.
One turnover for another one. Here we go. Henry Ford wanted to get in the end zone pretty quick, and what happens is the quarterback for Henry Ford, Jemison, puts the ball up in the air. Great positioning by number 8, I believe that is, Cass Tech, and that's David Dow. He steals the ball. He takes it right out of that Henry Ford's defender hands. Right now, Cass Tech with possession of the ball. 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the first half.
So Cass Tech gets it back. Looking across the middle to Kawasle, and that's the flag on the play.
Contact was made before the ball touched the hands of the receiver. That's going to be pass interference against this Henry Ford team.
When you take a look at that slant pattern Scott threw a good pass. And here it is. Interference.
What it seemed happened was there was a positioning pass, Jeff. The ball was put there for the receiver to get there to it. It was simply hit before his hands touched the ball. Pass interference against the Trojans. These are the kind of mistakes you really don't want to make. Henry Ford has made two unfortunate errors at a time when they can ill afford to have.
Scott looking for Williams, finding him.
And the pass is complete to number 32, Clarence Williams. Number 6, Matthew Irvin on the tackle for the Trojans.
It looks at what's going on is that Cass Tech wants to get somebody on the outside to get one of those quick outside pops to him, possibly breaking something long. Look at what happens here. He looks at a safety valve right there, but that was a nice one-on-one tackle by a Henry Ford player. You've got to give him credit for that. What Cass Tech is trying to do is hurry their way up the field. 1:43 remaining in the first half. Henry Ford is on top by 6 points. Believe me, this game is still a long way from being over.
Mr. Evans.
Terrell Rowland wants to discuss some offensive strategy with his team on the field to talk it over, because this is a big possession before we go into halftime. I know they're looking to score with a minute and 43 here, but they don't want to make no mistakes because they're in their own territory right about the 26-yard line. Second down and about
Again, the PSL championship game.
And you could tell the defensive coordinator for that Henry Ford team, this is what he was preaching to this unit. He's trying to let them know, do not go to sleep. We've got under 2 minutes left. We're only up by 6. Don't go to sleep and let the technicians do something spectacular and get back in this game, possibly take the lead by 1 or 2 points. So this is what he has to be telling to his players. His players have to be have to know about this thing, so they've got to play tough defense.
Scott, back to pass, looking across the middle, pass intended for Wilkins, but broken up that time by number 56, Kenyatte.
Kenyatte Sayre should have caught that ball. That was right in his hand. What happens is that quarterbacks and technicians fade back, puts the ball up, he's right there, hits him right in the numbers. He drops the ball. Should have been an interception, good field position for Henry Ford, but it turns out that the technicians retain control of this ball on their offensive movement going up the field. 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in the first half.
3rd and 9 for the technician. Scott rolling left, not finding an open receiver, tucks it and decides to run, breaks a few tackles. Scott, and he's nailed by number 7, right about the 45-yard line. No, I'm sorry, check that. That's number 4, James.
Number 4, Marquis Jefferson.
Okay, looking at the run, it was simply this, a broken play. Quarterback for the technicians decided that there was nothing there for him, so instead of throwing the ball up with a possible interception, he had a lot of room, so he decided to move it upfield, try to get themselves some good field position, cross midcourt. As you can see, he did a good job running the ball, picked up some substantial yardage. It was 1 minute 28 seconds remaining in the game. Give the quarterback for the technicians a lot of credit. He did a real good job. That's Durante Scott.
Scott, only 7 carries coming into the game for a total of 31 yards on the season, 4.4 average. His longest run was only 27 yards on the season and only had 2 touchdowns. Offensive totals for this Cass Tech team on the season, coming into this game, over 1,400 yards.
Definitely.
Per game totals on the ground, 202 yards per game.
It's a large crowd showing up here in Lorenzo Wright Field to watch this semi-playoff game between the Henry Ford Trojans and the Cass Technicians here on a beautiful Saturday afternoon.
Minute 28 left. Scott looking deep. Checked off.
Oh!
Leon.
That was a great play, Jeff. I'm sorry. That was a great play. Leon left his feet, came back down, still was able to make the tackle. And I mean, what a crunch hit that was. Let's take a look at it here. Leon simply busts through the line of scrimmage. Watch this guy run. He's fighting off 2 or 3 defenders. He comes around the side. He goes up in the air, stays on his feet, comes down, and still manages to make that tackle.
Leon in pass coverage that time. Ball slips out of Scott's hand. And
Was that considered a fumble or a forward pass?
I don't know. It must have been a forward pass. No indication yet. Yes, there's the indication. Mike Smith says Cass Tech still retains the ball. The ball looks like it slipped out of the hand of Durante Scott. On that last play by Leon Merritt, he was back in pass coverage, then made a decision to go after the quarterback, and a fine decision he made.
Definitely. That was a great decision, Jeff, simply because he also showed his speed on that play, because I thought maybe Durante had him at first because Leon left his feet, but he came down fast enough still to make the hit.
Scott on the option, faked it, and Leon Merritt there again.
Durante Scott on the carry, tackled by number 9, Leon Merritt. And that's the end of the first half. With the score, the Trojans from Henry Ford 6.
Your score, Henry Ford 6, Cass Tech 0. This is exciting public school playoff action coming your way on Barden Cable BC6. The second half when we return. Stay there, all right?
October.
I'm Jay Berry with an invitation for you to join Charles Turner and me here on Black Passport, a weekly travel magazine show with interesting personalities, informative travel tips, and plenty of fun as we travel to such exotic places as Ocho Rios, Jamaica, Cozumel, and Grand Cayman. And we'll also make stops closer to home, right here on Black Passport.
Before you dig, call Miss Dig for locations of underground utilities.
Welcome back to Lorenzo Wright Field and this Public School League playoff game. There's your score. Detroit Henry Ford 6, Detroit Cass nothing, after being entertained by the wonderful Cass Tech High School marching band. Thank you very much, all the ladies and gentlemen who put that band together. You do a fine job each and every time you perform. And here's the kickoff by Leon Merritt, and Smith picks it up, and good coverage on the kickoff team. That time, number 44 of Detroit Henry Ford got downfield and covered on the kick team very well.
Definitely. This is what we talked about was the strength of this Henry Ford team. They've got speedy special teams. They get down and they prevent special teams offensively from chunking up a whole lot of yardage. So you've got to give credit where credit is due. This is where Henry Ford is really good on special teams.
First and 10 from the 19-yard line for the Tech Denby.
First and 10. Slot left. Scott at quarterback. Sprinting out to the sideline. Oh! And
Durante Scott, the ball carrier. Number 44.
Dwayne Robinson on the tackle.
On the tackle for the Trojans.
Okay, this replay here, let's see what the play is, because we may have going after somebody with your helmet. I'm not really for sure. But let's look at what happens when the quarterback for Cass Tech, when Charles, goes up in the air. Look at what happens. He is banged really hard. We're waiting to see what the call is on the field here. Personal foul, is that?
So penalties offset one another. And it remains first down and 10 for Cass Tech.
Offsetting penalties on the play. It'll be first and 10 from the 19-yard line.
Right now, neither team can afford to get out there and lose their heads because after all, this is a football game. And Henry Ford, this is something they definitely don't want to do.
Williams in motion to the left side. Here's the give back to Williams, coming back left, tripped up by Dennis Hubbard.
Number 5, Dennis Hubbard on the stop for the Trojans.
Henry Ford is coming out into this defense and they're cheating. One thing that they're doing is penetrating. As you take a look at what happens around the left side, and this is one thing that they really haven't been doing. They've been trying to contain at the line of scrimmage, but now they're starting to penetrate against this offensive line from this Cass Tech team.
On paper, Detroit Henry Ford at a slight disadvantage size-wise. The Smurfs, Coach.
Okay.
Like Marshall refers to him as Clarence Williams tries to get outside.
Number 5, Dennis Hubbard, and number 6, Matthew Irvin on the tackle for the Trojans.
And close to another, well, short about 3 yards. We're going to take a look at the halftime statistics in the first half. There you see them. First downs for Detroit Henry Ford was 4. Cass Tech has 4. Rushing yards, 73 to 96. Passing, 6 to a negative 6. Total for the first half, 73 yards in total offense for Henry Ford and 90 yards in total offense for Cass Tech. Third down and a long 3.
There's a flag on the play.
And a flag, maybe delaying game. Let's see what they call it. I don't know if it's too much time or not. Gonna go against Cass Tech. So instead of third down and 3, someone lined up in the neutral zone.
It'll be 3rd and 8 for the technician.
3rd and 8. Turnovers in that first half, dead even at 2 apiece. On the fumble and the mishandled snap, just 2 to Cass Tech. Clarence Williams running left. Leon Merritt in pursuit with help
number 30
from number 11
for the technician.
And that's Charles Kruger.
Leon Merritt and number 11, Charles.
Well, they pursued that play very well. They strung it out. There was minimum yardage gain. As you can see, Mike Marshall, head coach of Henry Ford, walking up and down the sideline there. This is one thing that Henry Ford has to continue to do. Now, I'm still surprised that Cass Tech, as much as this Henry Ford defense has been cheating, they haven't gone there, not yet gone to the air the way I thought they would today.
Kicked out of bounds. Let's see where they spotted. Let's see what official is going to spot that one. It's going to be decent field position for Detroit Henry Ford, as the ball will be spotted right at the 36-yard line of Detroit Cass Tech. I mean the 34-yard line of Detroit Cass Tech.
Take over 1st and 10 from the 34.
So what's going on is that Henry Ford has great field position right now, Jeff, and what they're going to try to do, which I think would be smart, is we take a look at the head coach of Cass Tech as well as
Roland is probably concerned about where they position that ball in that punt.
Wayne State Starter Field, hitting the cars of Denby against the winner of
probably going to have a chat with one of the officials.
Great young man.
The give to Merritt off the right side. He stumbles and falls for about a gain of 6 yards on the play.
Clyde Jackson on the tackle for the technician.
I tell you, it's just one of those kind of plays where you look at Henry Ford, and when you got a back like Merritt, when you can play this crash mouth, this smash mouth kind of style, this football kind of style, they're content with running up the middle. To me, this is the strength of their offensive line. They move the defensive unit just a little bit to give Merritt the room he needs to crash right through those gaps.
High formation for the Trojans. Jameson at quarterback. Give to Merritt. The big man had a good first half.
And right now, you have to wonder also, because if you take a look at the Cass Tech defense, they're starting to cheat a little bit too. They're starting to play real close up on the line. If you take a look at their linebackers as well as their defensive backs, everybody's taking a couple of steps in. I'm really surprised that Jefferson hasn't possibly gone to one of his receivers up top.
Merritt breaking through for the touchdown for the Trojans.
This guy has great balance, he's got speed, and I'm telling you, the way they broke that play down, they fooled everybody. It looked as though that play was going all the way over on the other side. Leon Merritt fooled everybody by staying over on that right side, hitting that hole, going up the middle. Again, that's the 6 points for this Henry Ford team.
So make that a total of 12 touchdowns on the season for Leon Merritt. And Coach Rowland concerned about his defense right now. 2-point conversion is good.
And the conversion is good by number 5, Dennis Hubbard.
So, Jeff, I think what's going to happen is that Henry Ford is going to force this Cass Tech team to do something they really don't want to do, which is go to the air. Cass Tech's strength is on the ground, and I think right now with a 14-point lead, it may be a bit different.
Here's a look at that touchdown by Leon Merritt. Just pure power up the middle. And his ability to break tackles made this happen.
That's all it was. I mean, he just ran over and through everyone, walked into the end zone. That was the 6 points there. And as you've seen also on the 2-point conversion by the Henry Ford team, things primarily was the same. The offensive line won the battle. Look at what happened.
Here's that
Powell, right hand,
right there.
to the left side, takes it in the end zone, and there you go, 2 extra points.
That Henry Ford drive went 34 yards, 3 plays, all on the ground.
So if you look at the score, you look at the positioning and the playing, Henry Ford is winning in every aspect of this game, special teams, defensively and offensively. And as we talked about, they don't have the biggest offensive and defensive line in the PSL.
There's a kick by Merritt. Clarence Williams will get it around his 5-yard line, slips, regains his footing. And Williams finding a seam, but gets it right around the 25-yard line. The ground cannot cause a fumble. So Cass will retain.
Williams, the ball carrier. Number 64, Dwayne Robinson on the tackle for
about 8 minutes and 36 seconds remaining in this quarter. Cass Tech, Henry Ford leading the Cass Technicians 14-0. Okay, here's the special teams kickoff again. And as we talked about a little bit earlier, there's a lot of speed on this technician team. And if you look at what happens, he again almost touched the ground because of that slippery turf out there. But look at where the Henry Ford players are. They've all penetrated, and bam, they're right here doing that game tackling, which they've done so well today.
Right at the 25-yard line, whistles blow, flags fly. And a dead ball foul is the call. Let's see. The legal procedure against the offense.
Now, this is what you don't want to see if you're Cass Tech's coach. You don't want these little mistakes jumping up right now, because I have no doubt that this team is thinking about the touchdown that Henry Ford just scored. They got to get that out of their mind, because after all, they're just 2 big plays from being back into this game. And with 7 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in this third quarter, as you're looking at both head coaches, wondering what's going on today, Mike Marshall must be a little bit happy with the lead that he has. And the Cass Tech coach is probably telling his guys, we've got to get our heads back into this game, because we're not out of it yet.
Clarence Williams to give, up the middle, finding some room, close to a first down. Let's see where they spot the ball.
Jefferson on the tackle.
Jefferson on the stop, and that was a good execution of a fine play right there.
Again, Clarence, you look at this guy, and he always looks as though he's about to bust the victim. When you see a back like this, it's a bit scary. Check out what we're talking about here. There was a nice blocking by his offensive line up front. Look at how he's taking off. His shoulders are squared to the ground. He runs into the guy, covers the ball with both hands. Great job by this back to Cass Tech.
T formation that time from the Cass Tech offense, number 56 on the tackle, and that is
number 56,
Keanu Sayers on the stop for Detroit Henry Ford.
you still have, you got to wonder a little bit, Jeff. I'm still thinking if this coaching staff of this Castech team is interested in putting that ball up in the air, simply because they're down by a little bit. This quarter is zooming on by, and as you know, defensively, both teams are getting stronger as the game progresses, and it gets a bit tough scoring points later on in that fourth quarter.
Still a lot of time left on the clock. 6:36 here in the third quarter. Scott trying to turn the corner, but a good job by the defensive unit of Detroit Henry Ford in stringing it out. But a flag on the play, so let's see who that's going up against. You're flipping against Detroit Cavs.
Again, more mental mistakes by this Castech team. It seems as though they move themselves forward by 7, 8 yards, then they push themselves back with penalties. This is sort of unusual for this Castech team because they're normally a very disciplined team. This is the wrong time to come up with such mental mistakes, especially when you're down by 2 scores. You're going to have to put a lot of things out of their mind and go play by play, and don't worry about the set.
15 yards for Clifford.
There is Rondell Bright, the most underrated player in the PSL, in my opinion.
I agree with you 100%, Jeff Lowe. This little guy can make a lot of things happen, and if you notice, we've called his name quite a bit today. And when we talk about Londell, again, he's only 5'7" and 153 pounds, and I think that maybe they exaggerated that a little bit.
First down for Castech. Here's the give to Williams. Williams trying to spin out of a tackle.
Number 32.
Number 45 on the stop, Dwayne Robinson.
45, Dwayne Robinson.
It seems as though this Henry Ford team is starting to get stronger and stronger and stronger. Castech is running things close to the ground, close to the line. They're trying to string it out, hit the holes. Henry Ford is closing the holes. They're also stringing out plays very well. Personally, again, I think that this Castech team is going to have to go to the air because right now the running game's not working. If they can become successful in the air, maybe they can open up this ground game.
Second down and 19 for the technician.
Oh!
And that's Marsh getting through to make the sack.
I don't know who got to the quarterback first, the ball or Rondell Marsh. Let's take a look. Bam! There was no describing this play. He just beat everything to the punch. There's another loss for this Castech team. Great penetration by Rondell Marsh of this Henry Ford team.
There's a loss of 7 on the play. Third down and 26 for the technician.
Third and 26. Castech not opting to go to the air. Thrown back in the backfield, Bobby Carter. Double wing formation. Here's the snap. Scott looking across the middle. Oh! Williams. And Leon Merritt is there as Williams hits the ground hard and may have just gotten the wind knocked out of him.
Folks, that was a hit. That was a hit. Leon Merritt was there. It was like a train coming in at full speed, and there was just a huge whack. And we hate to speculate as far as injuries are concerned up here. We just hope the young man is all right. We're going to take a look and show you exactly what happened here. All it was, he tried to do a quick pop over the middle. It didn't work. He found his safety valve over the middle. He gives off to him, but watch Leon Merritt. Bam, coming off the ground on all fours, held and put those shoulder pads right in between the thigh and the ribs, possibly knocking the air out of this young man. And we hope this is nothing more serious than that.
Hamlet will go onto the field to attend to Clarence Williams, by running back from Detroit Castech. That's that hit by Leon Merritt. And we hate to see a scene like this, but hopefully the young man will be okay. Well, with this break in the action,
While there's a timeout on the field.
my friend Kevin Butler, let us take you to a break. Your score, Detroit Henry Ford 14, Detroit Cavs nothing. We'll be right back with more PSL playoff action after this.
Again, on October 26th.
There's only one talk show that links the entire world.
I have a question on your policy.
Would take these free trade with first
Where issues and news events are open to global discussion. With Larry King Live. He's got the world talking. Weeknights 9 Eastern, only on CNN.
Welcome back to Lorenzo Rice Field, nestled right outside of downtown Detroit, and a look at some of the fans on hand here to take in this playoff action of the Detroit PSL. And there's your score. Detroit Henry Ford, 14 and Cass, nothing. The injured player that's down on the field right now is Clarence Thompson, and the report is Clarence Williams, I'm sorry. And the report is, as we see him, that looks like a shoulder or ribs, or let's see.
It looks like a wrist.
Broken wrist.
It looks like the wrist. And it was probably the odd way, Jeff, that he came down. It probably wasn't the hit. It was the way that he came down on that wrist. But the one thing that we're glad about is that he's basically all right. Let's take a look at what happens. Leon Merritt goes down. Bam! Take a look at that. You see the way his wrist was up under his body and it was cuffed. And the way he came down on it, as our guys do a great job in the truck to show you again. Leon comes up again, as you can see, coming forward off all fours, hits him right above the hip, and down he goes. That arm, that wrist was cuffed, and that's what caused the injury. And that's something that we hate to see in sports, but injuries are part of football. It's a tough game. It's really nothing more than controlled violence, and we've got two of the very best out here playing this game today. But we're glad to see this young man injury wasn't as bad as we first anticipated. As you can see, the crowd giving the young man a hand as he's taken off the field by United Ambulance, and we're glad that they're out here.
So, Coach Sherrell Rowland has to do without his top back the rest of the game, and his replacement, it'll be number 4, William Isaac. And it may hurt this guy's tech team simply because this young man had a lot of speed. He would hurt you offensively, and I think they're going to miss that. Now a low kick. Henry Ford once again will have good field position.
And before we go any further, we'd like to say up here in the booth a hello to the new interim superintendent of Detroit Public School League, Dr. Sneed. Glad to have him aboard. Great to have him up in the booth. And I talked to him a little bit earlier, Jeff. Dr. Sneed told me that he's going to go to as many athletic events as he possibly could, which I think is great.
Henry Ford on the carry. Let's see who's running the ball after that foul up.
Number 5.
Speaking of
Hubbard on the carry, a pickup of about 4 yards on the play.
And also, in that same thing, we have cleanup campaigns going on around the Detroit Public Schools. Doctor been all over the city.
Here's Jameson getting outside. Bobby Carter there on the stop.
Number 4, Marquis Jimison on the tackle. Then on the carry, number 34.
Okay, on this replay here, you can see things are getting back to normal. Watch what happens here with Jimison. He keeps the ball and he starts rolling left and running. This young man has great speed. He's hooked around the neck by several Cass-Tech players and rolled out of bounds. Nice pickup on that play. And this Henry Ford team is still playing hard, tough football.
First down for Henry Ford. Londale Bright testing the right side, trying to get outside, and a penalty flag on the play. We may have seen a clip. Let's see what the call is.
But that's where Londale is dangerous, running out wide. That's where teams hate to see this young man wrong because he becomes dangerous, and he's got all the speed in the world. But I do believe that this play will be coming back because of a possible clipping on that last play, possession by this Henry Ford Trojans team.
Clip is the call. Says the league official, Mike Smith, on top of things here in this championship game, or this playoff game. He's been in many playoff games before. This crew is a very experienced crew. And the injured player gets up and walks off under his own power. That player is, let's see if we get a number. Yes, now is a fullback offensively for Cass Tech, and a linebacker on defense, Bobby Carter, walks off under his own power after being slightly injured.
First and 25, the 41.
Some hard hitting going on by both these teams out there today, but right now, Henry Ford can ill afford the kind of mistakes to push themselves even deeper in their own territory.
Jamison back to pass, looking for
Jamison,
number 21.
Number 21.
And that's
Terrence
Twyman, a freshman. Seeing some action in this playoff game.
And the one thing about Marquis Jemison is that he shows that he definitely has an arm. That particular play, there were 4 defenders around this receiver for Henry Ford. But Henry Ford, I guess, wanted this Cass Tech team to know that we will air it out. And believe me when I tell you, they have the talent to do so and do so successfully.
Wishbone. Jamison is stopped. On the stop, number 46.
Marquis Jamison on the carry for the Henry Ford Trojans.
Carlton Sykes.
Number 46, Carlton
Jamison called his, I'm sorry, Jeff. Jamison called his own number that time, and it was a loss of a yard on that play, and trying to keep it in the middle of the field.
So 3rd down and a bunch. Give to Merritt.
Leon Merritt on the carry. There's a flag on the play.
Legal procedure. Gets the offense.
Dead ball foul against the Trojans.
You hate to see this as a coach, because then again, what's going on is that the Trojans are pushing themselves further and further back, and what they're doing is setting themselves up to punt the ball, which would give Cass Tech great field position. And one thing about momentum, no matter what the lead is in a game, it normally changes from one side to another. Cass Tech really hasn't had their momentum yet. This is something that they still have, they have to look forward to, is momentum building on their side. But in order to make that happen, they have to play mighty tough football.
Clock continues to tick. Under 2 minutes here in the 3rd quarter. Detroit Henry Ford on top of the technician.
For the Trojans.
Jamison back in punt formation. Smith back to receive the punt. Get to about his 25. Get to the 30. And right over the 30-yard line, let's call it the 34.
Tackled by number 64.
Again, this gang tackling by this Henry Ford team, they always send the rifle up there to slow the play down, which is exactly what happened. And then you have a multitude of players down there to help with the tackle. Always more than one. This Henry Ford team gang tackles, and they do a great job at it.
Cass Tech 5-2 overall this season. Henry Ford 6-1. Their only loss to Catholic Central. Durante Scott trying to get outside, and once again, Leon Merritt is showing me some quickness. The 6'2.5" 220-pound linebacker shooting some gaps out there.
Definitely. I mean, taking a look at this replay, Jeff, watch the speed of Leon as he busts through the hole in pursuit of quarterback for Cass Tech. He catches him, he puts him down, and this kid is chock full of talent. I've said this, and I'm going to say it again. To make it to college, this guy is linebacker material. I don't see him in the backfield. He's got everything that the school likes to see. I really do. Take it to the bank.
Deposit. Scott on the rollout. Break misses one tackle there. Marsh had him in the backfield, he thought, and Scott outruns him.
Number 5, Dennis Hubbard on the stop for the Trojans.
Right now, defensively, both teams are becoming very stingy.
And at the end of the third quarter,
that's going to end the third quarter.
14, the Technicians of Cass Tech 0.
Detroit Henry Ford 14, Cass Tech 0. They want to talk this one over. We'll be right back with more Public School League playoff action after this. Hang on.
Turner Field at 1 p.m. October 30th, 1993. Pinning the Denby
To the championship game, and they'll meet the winner of this game. Denby defeated Detroit Breakfast by a score of 30-6. And now Cass Tech down 14-0 as we start this fourth quarter of play. Scott, a little roll to his right, finding number 4, and that's William Isaac.
Right now, as far as passing is concerned, Cass Tech is going to take exactly what Henry Ford is giving. Henry Ford is cheating up on the line defensively, and that leaves the middle all the way open. They're going to send backs out, and if that zone stays open, they're going to keep throwing to it all day long.
Scott, as Rondell Marsh gets his hands up in the air and blocks the pass attempt from Scott.
And as you see, Rondell Marsh and Leon Merritt was out there giving each other concussions the way they banging helmets together. But don't forget, momentum changes, and it changes very quickly in this game. And as I talked about a little bit earlier, you can see the score. Henry Ford leads in the fourth quarter, early in the fourth quarter, 14-0. Talked about it a little bit earlier. Cass Tech on the pass is going to take what Henry Ford gives them, which is 7-8 yards over that middle.
2nd and 10, Bobby Carter with the carry. Runs into the back of his own offensive lineman as the first man to the ball once again is a geeked up Rondell Marsh.
Call it Captain Geek. Now on this kid, this kid is putting on an animated show out there on the field for the folks. All excited about what he's doing out there.
Bobby Carter, the 3rd leading ground gainer. 178 yards on the season. He's the lone setback. Scott going to the air.
Again.
William Isaac on the reception.
Number 4, William Isaac, incomplete.
Again, one thing that this Henry Ford team is doing, they're soft over the middle. And this Cass Tech team knows it. I mean, anywhere from 7 to 10 yards out, once you get past the defensive unit and linebackers, if Cass Tech can manage to drop a few passes over there to some of their speedy people,
Number 3,
this may be
defensive coordinator of the Henry Ford Trojans, encouraging his ball players. And number 3 went to his knee. The ball will be marked right there at that spot. Number 3, DeAndre Woods. I'm sorry, check that. That's number 3, Deion Godfrey.
The ball was down on the 35 yard
back in punt formation.
The Trojans will take over 1st and 10.
And the Trojans will take over the ball at the 35-yard line of the Cass Technicians. And once again, excellent field position for the Trojans.
And
when you see that on the replay again, you'll find that Detroit Cass Tech, the punter, when he went down to stop the ball, his knee went down and it was marked dead right there.
As you can see, the Cass Tech team over on the other side. And one thing about this game that everybody must realize is that you got 2 good teams out here. But one thing we've noticed, especially during the playoff, the team that has better field position, take a look at that Cass Tech man over there. Absolutely great man. I'm telling you, one of the best in the city of Detroit. Talented. As we talked about a little earlier, Jeff, when we look at this situation as it is, Henry Ford is not the biggest team in the world, but they're a very smart team. Offensively, defensively, special team-wise. They don't make that many mistakes, which is something that you really like to see. Forget about the size. Might as well throw that right out the window because they're showing you exactly what they're made out of. And they're playing tough ball here today. Cass Tech is going to have to find a way to overcome the problems that they put themselves into, mainly giving this Henry Ford team great field position the whole course of this game.
Jamison giving the ball on the quick hit to Hubbard. Zayon Powell.
Number 5, Dennis Hubbard on the carry.
Hubbard on the carry for Detroit Henry Ford. Second and 6 to give. Nope. Jamison keeps it, tries to get around the outside.
On the carry for the Trojans.
Jemison has called his own name quite a bit today. Trying to get around that left side, trying to run wide, but the Cass Tech defense strung out the play really well, contained as best they could. Right now, Cass Tech needs something. Cass Tech needs a big play. They need something to happen right about here. To me, this possession that this Henry Ford team has right now, this will be the most important possession of this game.
Jemison doing a fine job at running the team for the Trojans. To give straight up the middle to Leon Merritt, and he's going to be close to another
Number 9,
first
Leon
down.
Merritt on the carry for the Trojans. Number 40, Keith Travis.
As we talked about Leon Merritt, this kid is an all-around player. Not only is he a great defensive player, but he shows you time and time again what he looks like offensively when he puts his hands on the ball. The guy has a lot of heart as well as a lot of talent.
There's a give to Londell Bright. Nothing there. Met by number 46.
Carlton
Sykes on the stop, and we've called his name a couple times. Yes.
Carlton Sykes.
With some assistance from Adrian Simmons on the play. I'm sorry, that's Clyde Jackson on the stop also. So the Trojans turn it over, and Cass Tech will have another shot at it with 9:14 on the clock. 14-0 your score, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, this Barden Cable's coverage of PSL football, the PSL playoffs. Detroit Cass Tech in the white and Henry Ford in the dark jerseys. Here's a give to Carter. Bobby Carter picking up a first down for Cass Tech.
Cass Tech's offensive unit, the offensive line won the battle that time to get the yardage that they've got. This is a very important possession for Cass Tech right here. Let's take a look at the replay and look at the right side of the offensive line. They just completely dominated that Henry Ford team that time, just pushing them inside as well as outside to create a gap where they're back to run through and pick up some nice yardage on that play.
Pick up about 9. It wasn't the first down. Pick up of 9 by Bobby Carter on that play. So it'll be second down and 1. And with this time out, we at Barden Cable will take a time out. We'll be right back with the final 9 minutes after this.
Against the winner of this.
Don't get stuck in the same routine. Change it daily with ESPN's Midday Workout. Start off with the world's best fitness instructors, the ESPN Fitness Pros. You'll get a workout with a twist. Getting Fit with Denise Austin is next. And July keeps you moving with Bodies in Motion. Plus, the gang on body shaping will get you in great shape. Get up, get going, get ESPN's Midday Workout.
Lorenzo Wright Field, site of the PSL playoffs. Cass Tech trying to put together a drive here at the 8:31 mark of the fourth quarter. Here's the give to Bobby Carter. He spins around and he's stopped by a host of Trojans.
Definitely. That time they won the battle at the line of scrimmage.
Number 34, Bobby Carter, the ball carrier. Number 9, Leon Merritt on the tackle.
And we'd like to thank Meredith. She's up here cleaning up behind us dirty guys. Cups and things all over. We apologize for that. Taking a look at this man again. I'm telling you.
Cass Tech top back. Clarence Williams went down to injury.
3rd and 2 for the technician.
And Cass Tech has been trying to do without his talent. Scott, a slight roll.
Oh,
and no flag.
No flag.
Oh,
No, there was one. Late one, but a flag. There's one.
That one brought the whole press box to life here.
Well, what happened was the ref was closer to the Cass side of the bench, and I guess the oohs and ahs that they received, that was late flag, but it was a flag nonetheless. Look at what happened. There was strictly a lot of contact made in the middle of the field before the ball even got there. So everybody was a little bit shocked when they didn't see one automatically thrown by the officials, but as we said, the late flag came into play, and it's going to go against this Henry Ford team.
The technicians have the ball first and
So,
midfield.
That's a 50 on a pass interference call. Cass Tech trying to get the point. Oh! Bobby Carter on the run.
This is a very important possession for this Cass Tech team. You got to ask yourself the question, is momentum changing right about now? Because at the line of scrimmage, the offensive line of this Cass Tech team is now dominating the defensive squad of this Henry Ford team.
Number 5,
The defense show is strictly nothing but hustle by number 34 for Cass Tech.
Got to the air, almost intercepted by Leon Merritt.
Pass intended for number 22. Elliott Pratt broken up by number 9.
Cass Tech definitely wants the end zone this time. This is a very important possession for Cass Tech. I don't think you'll see any fourth down punts or anything. I don't, where they are on the field. They got to get in the end zone in this possession, and they're going to do any and everything that they possibly can to make it there. As we look at big number 71 and big number 51 of Cass Tech, number 51 being William Moore, number 71 being Ramil Penny.
2nd and 10 for the technician.
Double wing formation for Cass Tech. Motion man, William Ike. Scott rolling left, looking across the middle, finding number 22, Elliott Pratt.
Nice pass. If you can take it, take it. Exactly what we talked about Cass Tech's last possession. Henry Ford is playing tight up on the line and leaving that middle open, and Cass Tech looks like they're going to take advantage of it in the passing situation.
No huddle, slight pass to number 1,
Tariq Kamasi. Flag on the play.
And a flag away from the ball. And let's see what the call is. Another penalty. Looks like it might be against Henry Ford.
Yeah, it looks that way. Folks, if Cass Tech scores here, we may have a brand new ball game.
Still a lot of time on the clock as the jubilant Denby team victorious, and we'll move on to play the winner of this contest. 6:53 and penalty flag on the field, and
whoa, it's a big one. That's a big one.
They're walking off 15 yards.
Illegal participation against the Trojans of Henry Ford. 15
Nice way to put it in.
Yeah, illegal participation.
First and 10 for the technicians for the 19-yard line.
Tried to play this game with 13 people instead of the 11 that's supposed to be on the field. Double wing formation. Scott looking downfield.
Oh, it's intercepted!
Picked off by number 6, Matthew Irving.
And he's moving. And that's Matthew Irving.
Matthew Irving on the interception.
Believe me when I tell you a play like that can just blow the air right out your sails. Cass Tech was on the move, and this is what happened. Right over the middle, there was a shot, and look who was there to just pick it right on off. And thank you very much. And he brings it back, picks up some substantial yardage on that play. Again, that's Matthew Irving, and running the ball really well. This is one of the small guys we were talking about on this team. Matthew Irving is 5'10", 172 pounds, not considered to be small in everyday standard, but as far as football is concerned, this Henry Ford team, they carry a lot of small fellas on it.
Lindell Bright running behind Leon Merritt, the big man.
Lindell Bright on the carry for the Trojans.
And again, Lindell Bright, another little fella, 5'7", 153 pounds for this Trojan team. And right now, Cass Tech has to be wondering what must they do to try and get into this end zone. They've tried so many things, numerous things, and nothing seems to pan out. Look at the face of the coach of the Cass Tech team. He has to be wondering, what must I do?
5:40 in the fourth. Lindell Bright trying to get outside, and he can't.
Snagged down again. Nice tackle. Nice little tackle by Rashawn Johnson on the tackle. Broke through the line of scrimmage.
On the tackle. Also with some help from number 42, Clyde Jackson.
3rd and 9 for the Trojans.
As we take a look at Trojans quarterback, Marquise Jemison. He's done a superb job leading his offensive unit thus far in this contest.
Here's the give to Merritt. Merritt is stacked at the line of scrimmage, or close to the line of scrimmage.
Number 40.
They stack Leon Merritt like a hero sandwich at that particular time.
We're going to go to a break right now. So your score, Detroit Henry Ford 14, and Detroit Cass Tech 0.
Hi, I'm gonna be up here for a while, so let's chat. Sure, I was NBA Rookie of the Year, and I went to the Olympics twice. But I also played the piano, sax, and even got my college degree in mathematics. But I'm not bragging, just making a point. I couldn't have done all this on drugs. And I couldn't wear this. See, I'm also Navy Lieutenant Robert. How's that for me, John?
I love to watch Barden cable vision Channel 6 because I love their high school football games.
Programming with you in mind. You're watching Barden Cablevision, TV6, Detroit.
For the technicians to receive the punt.
Henry Ford in punt formation. There's the time remaining and your score. Jemison with a low kick.
Whoa, what's the moves out there?
Oh, man. Number 5, Jason Smith on the punt return with some assistance at the end of the play by Clyde Jackson. And he can't do that. He's trying to carry his ball player.
Well, that's what you do sometimes with those fellas.
1st and 10 for the technicians at the 37-yard line.
Excuse me. So now this is a very important possession for the technicians. With about 3 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in this contest, they've got to get into the end zone, and they've got to do it rather fast.
Unbalanced line. Scott. Penetration
Look at this. Keep going back. Look at this number 4. He dropped it. No!
William Isaac can't hang on.
William Isaac from Durante Scott. Pass incomplete.
Durante Scott did a fantastic job scrambling around the backfield until he was able to find one of his receivers open. Look at this replay. Watch this. Payal runs right past number 53 for Henry Ford, airs it out, and watch what happens. Right in the hands, folks. Sometimes the worst place to hit a receiver.
2nd and 10 for the technician.
Bobby Carter, the lone back. Across the middle.
Oh, fumble!
Cass Tech recovered.
What a hit by Lindell Bright, number 1. That was put on number 22, Elliott Patton. What a hit. Again, look at this. Right out the hand. Now watch this hit coming up. Watch this. Watch this. Continue it, guys. Continue it, guys. Bye-yow! There you go. Fantastic hit. But Cass Tech manages to retain possession.
First and 10 for the technician.
First and 10 to give to Bobby Carter. And he's stacked up after a
Bobby Carter on the carry.
3.5-yard pickup.
Number 4, Marquis.
Sometimes you look at this situation and you wonder if it's the smart thing to do. I honestly think Cass Tech should concentrate more so on the air right now. They've got 2 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in this contest. They're down by 2 scores. You can't even think about running the ball right now. It takes too much time off the clock. Let the quarterback get back in the pocket and put it up.
Under 3 minutes left in this contest. Scott looking across the middle and coming up empty. Pass intended for number 80. And that's Patrick Hill.
Oh, definitely. We're going to take a look at this replay again, folks. This was something else. Now, watch this. It's tried to spin. Now, see what happens. The helmet knocks the ball out. And bam, although Cass Tech gets possession, bam, there's the hit again. That was a hit. Londell Bright was the perpetrator. Cass Tech standing in a huddle trying to figure out what can we do to get back into the game really quick. They need a fast strike right about now, Jeff.
Henry Ford in the zone. Motion, William Isaac. Scott, dropping back. Looking to number 1.
Pass intended for number 1. Tariq Kumase. Pass is incomplete.
Incomplete pass.
4th and 7 from midfield for the technician.
Well, as you look at the man right there he is, Londell Bright, 5'0" and 150 pounds. But this guy, let me tell you something. This is the kind of guy, if he makes it to college, believe me when I tell you, on special teams, he will give teams heart attacks. He's speedy, he's got a lot of heart, and he knows how to hit the holes. He's a little fella. You put it behind somebody like myself or Jeff Lowe, he'd be running all day.
I turned in my quarterbacking skills. Double slot. Motion. William Isaac. Scott. Looking to the air. Finding number 22 across the middle. And that's Elliott Patton on the reception.
Again, Henry Ford, really, it doesn't matter to Henry Ford about those kind of plays. Right now, 2 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the game. They'll give up 5 to 7 yards. Let them have the control passing in the zone defense. It makes no difference because they need one quick shot to get in the end zone.
Ronte Scott across the middle. And tackled by Londell Bright and Tariq Kumase.
In this game, if they're going to get it in the end zone, this is the play that they must use to get in there. Right now, Cass Tech quarterback should think about rolling left.
Ronte Scott. Give to Bobby Carter up the middle. That's going to keep the clock running.
Yeah, you're right, Jeff. It's going to continue the clock to run with 1 minute 25 seconds remaining in this game. And Cass Tech need 2 scores. It seems a little bit odd that they would be running at this time.
Scott, pressure, throws it away.
And again, there's number 57 for Henry Ford. That's Rondell Marsh.
Ronte Scott. Pass was incomplete. Pressured by number 57, Rondell Marsh.
Let's call him Geek Man from now on, number 57. Pretty big size fella. 6'4", 6'4", 265-pound senior.
And he's the biggest part of the Henry Ford defense and offensive unit.
In more ways than one. Big fella.
Making his impact felt this afternoon. Scott dropping back. Looking across down the sideline. William Isaac. Pass intended for William Isaac, and it's incomplete.
Almost picked up. Whenever you start panic throwing and throwing in the crowd because you have no other alternative or choice to try to get your team back into a game. That's going to happen. Let's take a look at what happens. Number 11, the quarterback for Cass Tech, Durante Scott. He puts the ball up over on the right side, almost intercepted again by Londell Bright, but went right off the fingertip, and Cass Tech still retains possession with 57 seconds now remaining in this contest. And I think we can pretty much say that you could send the Triad trucks home because this barn is just about burnt to the ground.
So Henry Ford taking their record to 7-1 overall. Then only lost, like we said earlier, to Catholic Central. And here's the give to Donaldson, number 20.
Number 20.
Yep, that should be just about it right now. Henry Ford is just concerned with grinding out the clock. Not that many ticks on the clock remaining, 47 ticks. And right now, I think Henry Ford is going to be content with just running out the clock right now.
I'd like to say hello to our friends at the Detroit Public School League, Board of Education building downtown, and also some of the students who are airing this game over WDPR Radio 90.9, student Detroit Public School radio station. And you're listening to Dave Brown on the play-by-play action.
And also, don't forget to join Mike Tiger Price.
Ford.
And also, sorry, Jeff, don't forget to join myself, Quentin King, Mike Tiger Price, Big Daddy Jeff Lowe, and Stephanie Young for Sports Talk, seen live every Wednesday night from 8:30 to 9:30, right here on Barden Cable, BC6.
47 ticks on the clock. That's all remaining for the Cass Technicians. Not on the season.
2nd and 9 for the Trojans.
And it's a possibility that they might can still qualify as Donaldson, number 20 for the Trojans.
Jamar Donaldson on the carry for the Trojans.
Senior running back.
Number 6, Andrew Fox on the stop for the Technicians.
This Henry Ford team.
Henry Ford will make it to the championship game again. Last year they made it there and lost to Detroit Kings and Clarence Thompson, who's starting at the University of Michigan and free safety. But this year, Henry Ford on a mission. Defeated Cooley a couple weeks ago, and they won't even take a snap here. Their final score, folks. Detroit Henry Ford 14. Detroit Cass Tech 0. The Smurfs do it again.